guys, Shane from Texas Restorations. We're back on the Cutlass again today. We had the customer. He's dropped off a bunch of powder coating. We got I think it's pretty much every single thing for the all the accessories. We got the powder coating for the valve covers all back. We got a brand new cross member because the other cross member was trashed right here where someone's tried to fix it. So he actually got a brand new cross member that's been powder coated. He actually got a set of headers. So we have to work on getting the old exhaust taken out so we can fit the headers in. Got that going. We've already started putting some of the little front accessory stuff on place. Got the little fuel pump in there, so I got to tighten it down. And then also is digging through all the parts along the wall, trying to figure out what still needs to be cleaned and what can go on the car today, what doesn't need to be, what's not needed no more. So stick around and we're gonna start putting this car together.
So we're here in this mess, cleaning up some parts. Shane has the hacksaw, finna hack the exhaust a little bit. We're gonna try to save the rest of the exhaust so we can reuse that, but we're gonna try to put the headers on and the exhaust we don't need is in the way. So Shane's finna do some cutting and then we'll put these headers on, get this old transmission cross member out, modify the other one that we need to, get that in today. Clean up some parts, paint those, see if we can put those on today. So stay tuned.
That scared the shit out of me. There you go. It's either, because either way we got to jack the motor up, because I don't think I can get the headrest on that side either.
Yeah.
So no matter what, we got to get the motor.
All right, so this is where we're at. The old transmission cross member has been hacked up to fit the setup for this car. We got us a new cross member, but we found out that the reason they hacked the old one up is supposed to make it pretty much line up. So we're gonna have to cut the welds off. Cut the welds off. Everything's sliding around. Cut the welds off. Move the bracket over. Mark up where the hole needs to be and drill another hole. Once we get that done, we can jack up the motor, then put the headers on. So yeah. So let's start doing that. We're gonna clean up the drive shafts right quick, paint it, throw it in before we before we start hiking up the cross member. I'm going to use it as a kind of like a guide point, make sure everything's straight. Trying to do this right the first time.
That's the last big piece of the puzzle right there, the AC. It's Texas, it's hot around here.
All right, so Shane pretty much finished welding on it. This is what we started out with. It was way worse than that. We tried to fill the holes to make it more solid, but the customer ended up buying a new cross member. And then we found out why they actually chopped it up and moved it over.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, once they put it all together, well, it's all chopped up and moved now. But this was actually over here. So we actually had to cut it all apart, slide it over, and then cut this piece off, and then relocate the hole. They tried to do that before on this one. What I'm assuming is, instead of cutting it apart, they just spliced it, or cut it down the center and, you know, fanned everything out, like this. And then just booker welded it all together. Granted, my welds ain't much better, but it definitely looks a lot better. So, not perfect, but I think it's a lot better than what he had. I can tell you that much. All right, guys, welcome back to Texas Restorations today. We're back on the Cutlass, taking a break on the trucks. We got a whole bunch of stuff we got to do today, actually. I'm trying to remember where we're going to start at. We got a little mini starter that we got to put in here, but you know, it's a car. The header's hugged so tight that we're going to end up trying to pull this header back up. We're probably going to end up having to pull the steering shaft and hoping we ain't got to lift the motor back up. That's really going to make me mad to do a starter. But that's where we're at on this situation. We have a whole bunch of other parts over here that we got. We got the fan controller. We got spark plug wires, the little spacers. I want to say this is probably the belt for the either the alternator or the power steering pump. These are the this is the high side line for the power steering pump. We got a battery tray. We might not get to the battery tray today, but the big thing today really is the starter. Just like get on the starter, get the starter thrown up in there. Maybe trying to figure out some of these wires a little bit, because it seems like once we get the starter in there, we might not be able to get back to the wires. So it's a tight one.
All right, so now first things first, I'm dragging out the car to see if we have to take these headers off for the starter. Since we put the headers on there, we have to run a mini starter. All right, so we get the headers off. Alternator brake got to come off. Steering arm probably have to come out and make a little bit of room. Hopefully not. Let's get started. Whew. All right, got the header out without pulling the motor. Thank the Lord.
Or at least lifting the motor.
Yeah, lifting the motor.
Now get the mini starter in there. You got the mini starter, but I'm scared it's not supposed to be like that. How it sticks out like this. So I'm about to take it apart and check it out. Only mini starter I've ever done was the one we put on Dirty Bird, so I'm gonna go check that out. Maybe it's supposed to be cocked like that, but the mechanic in me saying that's not supposed to be like that. So we're at least gonna check it out. Could be wrong, so we're gonna have some fun here a little bit.
Try a few different methods getting the starter in. The method that we noticed that's gonna work is kind of putting in the starter and the header at the same time, if that makes any sense at all. But to do that, first we have to rotate the starter on the plate like we did Dirty Bird in the previous video, and then go from there. It's probably gonna be a few times, and now we're trying to get it mocked up to see how it's gonna be. Once we figure that out, we'll be able to take it back off, trim it, and then go from there. Try it.
Want that?
I don't think that's enough.
Does it work?
Yeah, it should work.
Alright, so we're finally making some progress. Kind of tough to get in there, I'm not gonna lie. Like I said earlier, kind of do it at the same time. Watch the video. The guy had 2 shims in. We had the starter cocked to a certain degree, so we pretty much just copied the exact same way he did it. Right now, the headers are still loose, tighter. The starter's tight, so we're about to tighten up the headers and see what we got. All right, so after a long battle, we finally gave in. Like I said earlier, we had to pretty much install it at the same time. With one person, I don't see how this thing would have got done, but I'm sure there's a way. But yeah, here's this from the bottom view. Go to the top. All right, here's the view from the top. We did kind of have to bend this in a little bit, and at the bottom, because this style header is fighting the starter. So moving on from that. Show you that we're putting the alternator bracket back on, everything turned off, which wasn't much. I'm not gonna lie, everything about this car has been fighting us every step of the way. Yeah, I don't know if you have a Cutlass or not, but I'm never probably gonna have one. Probably stick to my C10 after this, honestly, but stay tuned for more.
The bracket needs to be popped out, son. Yeah, this is all AC. Ooh, we ain't got the loom or nothing, but I'm just going through the harness, getting all this other stuff taken apart and kind of seeing what other people have done over the years. Like you can see, they spliced the part here, they spliced it again there. I hope I think that's just loom. Shit, they might have spliced it again there too. Really? Did they? No. But yeah, so we're just kind of getting through all that. Maybe we might end up getting another wire and then doing just one big wire instead of having all these splices, just have one splice. But we're gonna make it kind of look like it's all wrapped up now, but we're just kind of doing it like that until we get the loom. Then once we get the loom, we're gonna get it all wrapped up and routed properly.
Alright, so time to clean this thing up. We got the condenser off, that's over there. It's not as bad, it's still dirty. So first thing first, we're gonna hit it with the pressure washer. Got a little electric one, I think it was like 200 bucks, something like that, Harbor Freight. Let's get to it. down a little bit, and now I got it soaked in with the degreaser. I went ahead and brought the fenders out. They've been sitting for a while. They had a bunch of dust on them. So I went down, hosed them down. We did sand the inner fender, I guess. That's what they call it. Yeah, the inner bay area. We did sand it and paint it black to go with the POR on the frame and everything else. So should look pretty good when we finally be able to put this thing back together. We've been fighting a little issues with the pulleys. I know we still have to get the right belt for the AC, and then we made the spacers, so we're gonna have to grind down and shim it down where it wants to sit. Probably gonna end up reusing the old core support mounts. Have some more over there. We just don't want to get new ones and have the front end sitting up. You're supposed to change all the mounts if you do them, so we're gonna leave it how it is for now. And now just letting everything dry. These are pretty much done. These are here plastic. So I found a little trick. Just wipe over it with Armor All WD-40, whatever. Just makes the plastic a little darker. As you can see, it's kind of dark up here, a little ashy or lighter down here. But once you just like really get a rag, spray some WD-40 on it, wipe it down. It's like a little cheap detailer. Makes it darker. So those are pretty much done, but we're going to be focusing on this core support, like we said earlier. Finally got the proper belt, looks like. I'm still cleaning up the course report a little bit. We finally got the more proper belt. Nice and tight. Well, that was a little loose. Gotta adjust it a little bit. Got some wire loom. I'm gonna start putting all this stuff on.
I'm gonna leave the AC loose. We might have popped off and that's
Pretty cool.
pretty neat, right? There's the head mount on this. Yeah, because this right here is where the thing got plugged in. Yeah, right there. I gotta run a wire from that to.
Alright guys, so painted the course report last night. Doesn't look too bad. Finna go over one more layer of black. But it doesn't look too bad. We ended up using POR 15 on the frame. Alrighty, you got Shane back over here, messing with the wiring. Trying to ring it all up, make it look pretty. Course support's all dry from yesterday. Got to sit next to the fenders. Got to wipe it down, detail it a little bit, it's a little dusty. Everything looking decent.
guess for everything else we're gonna have to put it. Loose for that side.
Got the core support on, not bolted down. It's on. All press the mounts back in. Keep the body lines all even. Got the new battery cage is placed in. So it's tightening up the bolts, putting the shims in where it's needed. Car is pushed back in the garage for right now. Gotta go pick up some more supplies. Gotta get the proper carburetor gasket. Gotta get some more wiring. Maybe another can of paint. Once we get all this situated, the belt situated, everything tightened up on this side, we'll be ready to put this fender on.